This is a big wow. You get cancer and somebody knocks on your door. Here's a check. Don't worry about a thing. That is a wow moment.
Hi, doctors. Welcome to our Friday mornings and welcome to our conversations about real. Doctors, let's get real. This is all about real life, real conversations, and real solutions. So, we are here to help you, our doctors, to thrive and put joy in their personal life, professional life, and financial life. And all our conversations will be going around these three main circles of your life so we can help you thrive and put some joy into it. So my name is Gayatri, and I help doctors take control of their financial destiny and optimize their financial wealth. And it always humbles me the amount of service and love that you dedicate to your craft, that you would be able to protect the three areas of your life as well. Friday morning conversation is with this amazing soul who has an amazing introduction. So Vicky Ragnar calls upon her experience as a practicing surgeon, clinical faculty at the University of Washington School of Medicine, and a serial entrepreneur to help physicians and dentists achieve the personal, professional, and financial goals that attracted them to a career in medicine. She's also the author of several books, including The Myth of Rich Doctor, The New Thriving Medical Practice, and The 9 Money Mistakes That Doctors Make, which fortunately is one of the complimentary copy we are giving to all our doctors. Once you click onto the link, singaporedoctors.sg, and grab your copy, it's complimentary from us to you. And she's also a nationally noted expert on doctors and their relationships with money. She delivers keynote addresses and coaches physicians who want to thrive. So listen up, doctors. There is something that you can take the golden nuggets and use it right away. So let's put our hands and heart together to welcome Dr. Vicky Ragnar. Hi, doctors. Welcome to our Friday conversation. Today, again, we are here to have some aha moments, have some inspirations with you. So, Dr. Vicky, please tell us, how have you been and what is going to be that we're going to be sharing today, Friday morning?
Well, I have been thinking a lot about what happens when the unexpected happens. I don't think any of us foresaw the COVID pandemic, the impact that it would have on our patients' lives, on our lives, on our families, on our communities. And it's just a reminder that the unexpected can and will happen. So finances and health are woven together, right? We all make choices about our money, our time, and our health. And at least here in the United States, there are some people who can actually go bankrupt with critical illness, either with an acute illness like cancer, chronic illnesses, and yet most physicians don't really feel comfortable talking about money. I mean, for most of us, it's the ultimate taboo topic. So there's this disconnect. Money enters into the conversations in a patient's head about what they do. Yet, very few doctors really feel comfortable talking with patients about money. And so her reluctance to talk about something embarrassing literally cost her life. And this has a significant impact. I mean, I know patients who just don't go to the doctor because they don't want to find out the bad news. They don't want to put their family in the kind of situation where they're going to be depleting the family's resources to take care of an illness that they would prefer to ignore. So I think if we're really going to deliver holistic healthcare, like look at the patient as a whole, we want to recognize our patients as having a financial life too. We want to recognize that illness can be expensive. Now, I know in Singapore, you have a great healthcare system. I know that, most of your population is well taken care of, but I also understand that if a patient is diagnosed with a serious acute illness, a malignancy, the kind of malignancy that can cause an American patient to be bankrupt, this could have a significant impact on a Singapore family. You tell me, am I tracking what's going on in your healthcare system here?
You're absolutely right because we have a good healthcare system, Dr. Vicky. You're absolutely right about that. But that doesn't mean we are covered for everything. So we do need to take a personal effort in making sure our finances are right. But the degree of your recovery or the degree of healthcare that you want, that might not be sufficient if you don't do a plan for yourself. So doctors themselves are very heavily exposed to lots of illnesses. They have to do their own planning. So yes, it is very costly over here when you don't plan. The second question is it enough sometimes? Because it might be barely enough because our medical and health costs is escalating year by year. Yeah.
So what I can tell you from my own experience as a surgeon is that I wanted to do everything possible to make sure that the path to health was cleared, right?
Mm.
And these financial stresses that most doctors don't feel very good about, this can be a significant stressor for patients.
Mm.
And so if we really want to take care of the whole patient, having an awareness about what their finances are and having the courage to initiate the conversation about, what are your finances like? How are they impacting the kinds of health choices that you're making is really important. Now, you and I were talking because I'm fascinated about what's going on in Singapore. And you told me something that absolutely blew me away. You told me that you have an insurance policy um, where if you get a critical illness, specifically a malignancy, and you're covered for it, somebody will like knock on your door once you've been diagnosed and give you like a really big check. And I was just thinking about the impact that that would have on a patient's life. Like if they knew that all they had to do was focus on getting better and they didn't need to worry about the money piece. That's like, we should have, I want that policy. I wish we could get something like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
we are very, very gratified that the company listened to us, and we actually have this particular cover for COVID to be a message of hope, to be a ray of love in this pandemic, where we are actually able to cover you. And yes, you can get money out of the way when you do get this particular critical illness. So this is very specific to cancer, Dr. Vicky, I was talking about, as compared to having the whole range of critical illnesses covered, which most of the doctors were very, very concerned. And we have really upped their level. They're all well covered. Now they just want to have an extra cover for their patients. So some of the clinics we have been licensing with is to give them an additional support during this COVID, that if they do get anything to do with cancer, they are eligible for this plan, even if they have pre-existing.
right.
Now, this cancer cover that covers you for early, intermediate, and late stages, your active income years for a patient or for a doctor who is getting to just up their coverage for cancer.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, if this kind of policy were available in the United States, we all have protocols with our patients, right? We go through cancer screening, we talk about health promotion. If I had access to this kind of policy, I would be having conversations with my patients about buying this kind of coverage because, we do all sorts of things to prevent cancers or to prevent bad outcomes from cancers. We do mammograms. We make recommendations about healthy diet and exercise to decrease the risk of the morbidity, of the impact that illness would have. And it seems to me like, if a woman gets a mammogram, she should think about getting this policy because she wants to be reassured that, it's going to get caught early and the impact on her life is going to be minimal. I know how much patients worry about money. So here's the next step. And none of us doctors want to think about it, but what happens if that patient is us? I know there's a part of us that sort of feels like we're immune from illness. Nothing is ever going to happen to us. But we know that the unfortunate truth is that things can and do happen to us. And I also know that I've got friends, I've got colleagues who are ineligible for life insurance. So they recognize the importance of doing this kind of financial planning, but it's kind of too late. When they go through the screening to submit the application for their life insurance, they find out that maybe they're diabetic or they've got hypertension. Or one of their screening tests comes back positive, so they can't get the life insurance. And I don't know, what do you recommend when doctors themselves are worried about protecting themselves, their families, and they may not qualify for life insurance?
So that is the first thing I do. I never touch the quadrant of savings or retirement until the medical quadrant is fully maximized. Want to make sure that they are protected, their income is protected, their practice is protected, so they can be there for their patients. When I talk to my doctors, we actually try very best at the very early stages, if they're young and healthy, to get the best medical protection plan, because it is the most expensive later. But at this stage and crisis, if a doctor is not protected, which is very often, Dr. Vicky, they tend to buy more properties and more investments and have a good retirement plan rather than have a good medical plan sometimes. So they should get protected early, and they should get a really good plan. And if they haven't, they should take a look at it today, because they are the youngest. But assume if they already have some pre-existing, then they have hope. This time we're actually giving a cancer cover for pre-existing. So that's why we are actually urging our doctors to take a look at these kind of plans when it comes in the market, gives a second chance to get to know, up your medical care a little bit more, where you're leveraging off the insurance. So the longer the female physicians or my female clients delay, they have to pay a heftier price later. So the earlier, the better. Prevention is better than
We
cure.
started out the conversation talking about the unexpected.
Yep.
And I think we physicians would love to believe that patients get sick, not us. And hopefully that will be true. But I think with the COVID pandemic, I think all of us have been humbled with the reality that we are all vulnerable.
Mm.
So I think part of managing in an uncertain world is just to make sure that you have a plan in case some things we hope never happen actually do happen. And one of the scary things is, what if I got cancer? What would happen to my kids? What would happen to my practice? What would happen to my family? And you just want to have that security that, okay, if God forbid that happened, I would be taken care of financially.
Yes, to be very honest with you, I think doctors know it better than ever. When they are healing their patients, or even when they are healing themselves, they want the money to be the last concern, because their life matters, their family matters. Money should be the last thing on your head, but that's true. They are also not able to give the best medical care for their patients if they can't afford, because they don't want to be pushing the patients. So from a patient care perspective, Dr. Vicky, you're so right. It is good to give them the right information so they have more choices. But coming back to the doctors being indispensable and being the superheroes of our life, unfortunately, they are not superheroed from the illnesses they might get, because it is very unpredictable. Yes, it is very important for doctors to actually rethink their current medical structure and put in all the plans that they can, so they can bulletproof themselves and their income in the near future.
Just always keep in mind that healthcare and finances are woven together for ourselves and for our patients. And there are smart things that you can do to optimize financial health as well as physical health.
Yeah, and that's why this channel is all about. You optimize your financial health, your personal health, and your professional health. All sort of life should be covered for you to have the balance and joy, for you to experience it, for all that hard work and time that you put in. People think that their critical illness is indispensable. They won't get it. But once you get it, you won't be able to retract back that time. There is no way for you to rewind back your life and say that, hey, I should have done it earlier. So I hope this message goes across. Take a look at your medical care plan. Take a look at your critical illnesses. And if you have not upped it up, go and talk to a financial planner. Go and talk to somebody who can actually help you in this. But Dr. Vicky, what did you do to make sure that your unplanned emergencies are protected?
I mean, I'm somebody who lost my home in a house fire. And so I know from my own experience that unlikely things happen. And so I'm always a big fan of insurance. I'm always buying insurance because I like that certainty. I don't like gambling. I don't go to Las Vegas and gamble. I want the sure thing. Here in the US, there's a huge conversation right now about our own healthcare system. And part of the critical conversation is what happens with pre-existing conditions, right? So right now, every American has access to healthcare regardless of what's happened in their past. And if this is taken away, a lot of people are going to suffer. So I think health is our most precious asset. I think it's important to be protected. And I think it's important that we know what our plan is should something unexpected happen. So I'd buy this policy in a heartbeat. if I were in Singapore.
Yes, Dr. Vicky, thank you so much for shedding this light on this, because people tend to oversee this, or they think that they have enough, but it's good for them to just sit down and take a look at what they have. So thank you for shedding the light on planning for the unexpected, because that is what planning is all about, not just for the expected, but the unexpected. So your dreams are intact. You bulletproof your dreams, right?
Right. Beautifully said. Just beautifully said. Yes.
So have a lovely Friday, all. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, and hope you got your aha moments, you gained some insights, and you would act on it. And always feel free to give us a comment, share whatever inspirations you had, so we would know what our next conversation would be with our Dr. Vicky, our in-resident expert that is going to make you thrive. So thank you so much. So bye, Dr. Vicky.